University says they are in for the show tonight. The zoo crew or whatever they are. Student section will be checking us out, so I'll have to give them some love.
Okay, you're good.
Looking good? You good?
Yeah. So I'll come back. I'm not going to do the names because obviously Jordan's not here. So
No.
And let me see if I got everything I want. Yeah, I think we're good. Let me pop the earphones in and let's get rocking.
Yep. You should text her and be like, Andy says you're fired.
Yeah.
Skipping out on us. We've decided
It's time for high school football coverage right here on ThreeRiversBroadcasting.com, the new voice of Pittsburgh. The Pigskin Report. We take you around the tri-state area with scores, stats, and interviews right from the gridiron. And now, here are your hosts, Jordan and Alex.
this is not Jordan.
Start again.
We're doing it
We
again?
gotta start again, yeah.
Start again?
Let's start it again. Go ahead.
We're going to go for it?
No, just introduce
Just
yourself.
introduce myself?
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to the Pigskin Report on Three Rivers Broadcasting. I'm Alex. There is no Jordan.
Yep.
But Coach Krzyzewski is here tonight, and we are going to take you around the WPIAL, the City League, and West Virginia and the Upper Ohio Valley here over the course of the next, 30 minutes or so. Take you through all of those high school football scores. We'll talk a little bit about the Pittsburgh City League games that we took part in over the course of the last 2 days. Big win tonight for Westinghouse. They hung 50 on Perry. Certainly the favorites to win the Pittsburgh City League Championship once again. Coach Moore was with us from Brashear. We had the Brashear game on last night. Nice win over Alderdice. They'll do it again next Thursday on our air. And always a great interview when we have Coach Andrew Moore joining us from Brashear High School. He sat with us for just about the entirety of the second half, showed up at halftime. A great interview talking about his program. Gave us a little bit of an update on Tamir Robinson, who was taken out of the game yesterday with an injury. He went down to see the best doctors in the region today, so they're going to get some results. Hopefully everything will be good with Tamir Robinson. There were a dozen, maybe more major power conference college coaches in the building yesterday to check him out, as well as some other players from Brashear, including some major head coaches and one fellow from up in State College who made the ride down to see him. So James Franklin was in the house last night, and unfortunately, again, Robinson comes down with an injury. Hopefully it'll be nothing.
We all know why they were there, too.
Yeah.
Inside joke.
They were there for Three Rivers Broadcasting,
Yeah,
of course.
Exactly.
It wasn't about Tamir Robinson or Cameron Cheatham. No. They wanted to get interviewed by us up in the press box. But you should have seen the security and Karen Arnold having to hold everyone off so they couldn't come up the elevator. They said no more than two at a time, and it was very unfortunate that he came down with an injury. But I was really impressed with the play of Daquan Griffin, who stepped in at quarterback and carried Brashear to a major victory And they're trying to sort out the playoffs right now. City League doesn't play 10 games. They usually play 8 or 9 games in the regular season. And I believe the PIAA has some type of minimum that you have to play in order to be eligible. But Brashear had games canceled because of the COVID stuff. So I think there's going to have to be some type of application for a waiver to get them in the 5A playoffs, where in that sub-regional...
Well, that's kind of odd because, it's not really by fault of their own.
No, it's not their own fault,
plus
right.
They tried to make the games up
They
and
did.
nobody would play.
Nobody would play them,
that's really not their fault.
No, and that's it. And that's where I agree with, Brashear and Coach Moore saying, hey, listen, we wanted to play games. And he said, to his credit, he said tonight, Sarah Catholic wanted to play, and that the kids were the ones who got the game together. That Farrow Fisher and Tamir and these guys, they all follow each other on Twitter now, and they were messaging each other, hey, you're off, we're off, our games got canceled. We got to get our coaches, let's play this game. They wanted to play. Sarah couldn't play at home, and neither could Brashear.
Why?
They had soccer all day at
scheduling conflict.
And I think they had a band. It was like a band competition at night.
Okay.
Scheduled at couples, so they couldn't play at couples. And then Sarah, I think, from what it sounded like, either couldn't get the staffing for the game day at home or couldn't rent McKeesport's field because they knew they were going to need a bigger.
Is that where Sarah plays at?
They have their own field. It's a small field on campus, but it sounds like they couldn't get the stadium set.
Right.
And again, if you're going to do a Sarah Brashear game, the small stadium at Sarah probably not going to be enough. They're probably going to have to look at McKeesport and play the game there because it would have been a bigger
and
bigger stadium.
At that point, though, who cares? Like, if you have to play that game where nobody goes to it, just
to get the game in,
get it in. Who cares?
It in.
We're beyond at this stage in the game after the COVID year. I'm kind of beyond caring if the fans can come or not.
Just get the kids the game.
In, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So we've got City League playoffs next Thursday and Friday are the semifinals. We'll be here Friday for the Scoreboard show after the City League playoff game, and then it's the finals the week after that, and that is the end of the regular season for the Pittsburgh City League and their playoffs. And then we'll see about states. We're trying to figure that out right now. They're finalizing all kind of the district seedings, and they're also working on kind of the pricing structure and things. So we're going to have to look internally on our end and talk to the City League about how we can work out to continue covering them from a broadcast perspective. But regardless, I think we're going to try to continue to do game day coverage of the Pittsburgh City League, even if I'm the one. Listen, Andy's got a lot of responsibilities, both personally and professionally. Jordan, same thing. If I have to get in the car and drive out to Bedford to do a Westinghouse playoff game, I'll do it. We'll make sure we have somebody at these games to make it happen for the City League, because we have been really happy to cover them all year. And I know we're opening up with the City League this segment. And I tweeted this out. You retweeted it. We've both said this now on social media and on the show. The only people who have covered the Pittsburgh City League for the last 2 years on a weekly basis have been our team of Pennsylvania Football News and now Three Rivers Broadcasting. There has been not one, and I'm going to take the shot, not one big boy, all these guys who like to flaunt their muscle and flex and say that they're the big Pittsburgh sports reporters, not a one of them has come down on a weekly basis. We get them once in a while.
Yeah, they
show up for the final.
It's really a shame. Or I wouldn't say not just finals, but if there is somebody that is a really good player in the Pittsburgh City League and they start hearing about them, they'll come out and it's kind of like, let's go check out this guy because we're hearing a lot about him from PA Football News, from Three Rivers Broadcasting. And then magically they all appear. And we want to see these kids get as much coverage as they can. I'm cool.
Well,
more the merrier. But don't act like you've been there the entire time, because you haven't been.
That's my biggest beef. Yeah, don't act like you've been there the whole time, because Billy Splain's team, Pennsylvania Football News, he's got photographers that have gone there too. Obviously, I've been focusing on the Three Rivers side of it this year, but he's had his photographers down there multiple times, and we've been down there as a group now for the last 2 years every week. I missed 1 week for a wedding, and I can tell you there wasn't anybody else. There was nobody filling in that spot, and I was disappointed last night because that was the only game. There was no WPIAL games last night, so nobody came. Well, listen, more power to us because we're there, and Billy got the bump of the tweets, and we're gonna write a regular season wrap up for him from Three Rivers Broadcasting that contributes to Pennsylvania football news here this weekend. But again, I'd like to see more people.
The CEO said he is willing to fly out for a City League game, so we might have to.
I think for the final, we should fly him in.
Yeah,
I think that would be a perfect weekend. That's the last weekend in October. It's also the weekend that's the same day as the final Riverhounds home game of the season. I think we should get him out here for it.
I feel like the Riverhounds season goes on forever.
It does.
I mean, we're almost in baseball World Series, and they're still playing
regular season games.
Yeah,
they haven't got to the playoffs
guys,
yet.
Let's get it over with. Let's get to the playoffs.
Yeah, well, 2 weeks, and hopefully they'll have a home game. But yeah, maybe we got to bring the CEO in for that.
Yeah.
Should we look at some scores?
Yeah,
get
that's
things going.
That's what people come here for, right? It's
All
not
right.
to hear us ramble. That's on Wednesday. People come and hear us.
That's
ramble.
right, and Joey the Truth too.
Yeah, we got to get before we jump into scores, you and I just discussed this. I mean, there's going to be a lot going on. We have a couple of things lined up. Hopefully, signing some final contracts with some NCAA Division III NAIA basketball programs that we're going to be providing coverage for. Also working on a Division I program. So we have a lot going on here, and we're going to continue to give you the Pittsburgh Sports Report, but we're working on different ways to get that sports report out consistently. And the reason I'm talking about this is we missed a couple of weeks because we just had so much stuff going on.
Yeah, we were busy.
And we heard about it.
Yeah.
And good. We're glad you guys missed the show. So.
Bismarck, North Dakota is not happy with us. Bismarck, North Dakota is very angry.
A big following over there.
All right, let's jump into it here. Let's get through some scores. Fort Cherry over Union, 26-14. Sarah Catholic, we talked about them. Nice team. Defeated Apollo Ridge, 62-20. Apollo Ridge graduated, I believe it was 12 or 13 seniors who played both sides of the ball, starters and bench players from last year's team. And I covered a handful of Apollo Ridge games last year for Pennsylvania Football News and for the newspaper out in Indiana County. And they were fantastic. Those seniors they had last year, Logan Harmon was a fantastic running back, linebacker, and they had a handful of other players who were really, really good that they lost a 6'6" wide receiver who was a basketball player. I forget his name, too. Man, I want to say Chase Claypool because it sounds very similar to Chase Claypool, but it's not Chase Claypool. Yeah. It was something similar to that, but he was a very good player.
Claypool Chase.
Yeah, right. It was reverse. And so they lose 62-20. Beaver beat Charval in overtime, 35-28. Nice win for them. Burgettstown over Northgate, 17-14. Latrobe threw one away tonight against Jordan's alma mater, Franklin Regional, 41-40. A kicker from Franklin Regional is a freshman who hit the extra point to win the game. They rolled off, I believe it was 21 or 27 unanswered points for Franklin Regional. Nice win for them. North Allegheny bouncing back after some losses to defeat Cannon Mac.
Weird game. We had Three Rivers Broadcasting sports reporter Tom Obakunis there, and Cannon Mac was winning early on, and their star running back got injured and taken out, and that really changed the course of the game. I would have loved to see Cannon Mac at full strength and see what they could do. That could have been a program changing victory for them.
Really could have been. Neshannock 40, New Brighton 27, Uniontown 42, Carrick 13. We didn't get to do that game because I was out in Steubenville all day. Visiting some prospects and clients. There's a nutritionist that I met with there today. So we've been all over the place over the last couple of days and weeks. So again, we missed that Uniontown Carrick game. Carrick finishing the season winless, but there's some bright spots. Even the folks up in the press box, the employees from the City League, they're like, Carrick played it out right to the last second today.
Shout out to Carrick.
Shout out to
Tennis.
the Raiders. That's right, Carrick Tennis. Yeah, we had retweeted them. City League champions, the girls, Carrick Tennis. Were the champions there. Kiski area 42, Shaler 27. Kiski's first winning season since 2003.
And good for Kiski. That's great.
Somewhere out in Vandergrift, Pennsylvania tonight, my former high school principal, Frank Pileski, has a smile on his face. He's got to be happy.
I always get all my spam calls come from Vandergrift, and I'm trying to think. There's another. I think it's like McKeesport or something. But you always get the same ones all the time.
Yeah, and I still have the jersey number. Mine come from Patterson and Jersey City. Like it's random or like
Vandergrift is one of mine.
Yep. I'll get calls from someone saying that it's the Rite Aid pharmacy and my prescription is ready for pickup and I can come and get it in Englewood. And I'm like,
I'll be there in 7 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll see you in 7 hours, guys. But congratulations to the Cavaliers of Kiski area. Their first winning season in almost 20 years. And I'm always pulling for Kiski area again because my high school principal from New Jersey, modern day, Frank Pileski, played at the University of Pennsylvania, played at Kiski area, big 33 player.
Do you know what the Roman Catholic Church is in Vandergrift?
Which one? Weren't there multiple at some point?
There's one that's kind of well known. It's the bigger church.
No, I don't.
It's St. Gertrude's.
St. Gertrude's. Okay, we got to keep that on the trivia list for next time. St. Gertrude's in Vandergrift. Shout out to everybody from St. Gertrude's. Highlands defeated Armstrong, again, 41-27. Chandler Timons, 235 yards passing, 126 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns on the night. That's going to be a Pennsylvania Football News Keystone Player of the Week nominee for sure.
Yeah.
Let's keep rolling on here. Moon escaped, stayed undefeated, defeated Upper St. Clair, who's a good ball club, 16-13 tonight. Freeport all over Burrell, 42-9. Mapletown, Jefferson Morgan, 43-12 to Mapletown. North Catholic, another shutout for them, 35-0 over Deer Lakes. Gateway beat Woodland Hills, 40-21. Avella
good win for Gateway.
Good win for Gateway. They've been up and down. Lost to Penn Trafford last week. Come back with a win. I believe Woodland Hills is without their top player. I believe Deontay Williams, I think is his name, is the quarterback.
Okay.
Went down injured earlier in the season, so they've been kind of up and down since then. Avella beat Bentworth 30-21. South Allegheny over South Park. That was 26-7. Bethel Park wins a rivalry game against Peters Township 38-8. And Cornell over Rochester, 14-7. Defensive battle there.
Yeah, that was a big game in single A.
It was,
and, you know, it's weird. Cornell has had such an up and down program. A couple of years ago, this is probably before you moved here, they had to give the program up, and all of their players had to go play at Quaker Valley, including a top player who ended up going on signing a full scholarship, Dane Jackson, who I think is in the NFL now. He played at Pitt.
We actually talked about that when I was at WGPA on our football shows on Friday, our football games on Friday night, and our shows on Saturday morning when Cornell had that problem.
Yeah,
we brought it up.
He was a student at Cornell, played hoops at Cornell, and they were really good at hoops, and then played football at Quaker Valley. And I used to always get ticked off, and I would tweet at Pitt, because they would always announce when he made a tackle or anything, they would say, you know, Dane Jackson from Quaker Valley. And I would say, he's not from Quaker Valley. He's from Cornell.
He's from Cornell,
he played at Quaker Valley, but he is a Cornell graduate.
Right.
So, you know, shout out to Cornell for not only getting a football program back, but they're a contender now.
They are
in single A.
They are. They've got a pretty good team up there in Coriopolis. Southside 42, Brentwood 6. Avonworth all over Hopewell. They poured it on in the first half.
Avonworth is good.
Avonworth is very good. 50-0 over Hopewell. Central Valley. Another day, another win. 44-0 over Ambridge. There's a program that back in the day was very, very good in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s that has fallen on hard times. North Hills 13, Pine Richland 7. So that's another nice win for North Hills. That's 3 nice wins in a row for them.
Yeah, North Hills used to have a powerhouse program. They have great facilities. It's a tradition out there.
That was where Arrington went, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So there's a big history there. Penn Trafford all over Connellsville. That's a team we've been watching all year. 45-6. Chartiers Houston over McGuffey, 13-7. West Green doubled up Monessen, 28-14. You know, Monessen was a team we talked about in our preview show that we were saying, you know, let's just hope they get through the season in one piece. And they've actually got a couple of wins under their belt. So that's good to see for the Greyhounds. And that's, again, another one of those towns where the program has shrunk, the population shrunk. And we talked about, well, is it time to merge it with Bell Vernon and get those, 4 or 5 extra impact players over to Bell Vernon? But Monessen continuing to chug along there, so congratulations to them. Elizabeth Forward. This was supposed to be a big game that turned out to be not so much. Elizabeth Forward 35, Mount Pleasant 0.
I guess you could say it was a big game for Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Forward, yes, big game for Elizabeth Forward. Penn Hills 28-7 over Fox Chapel. Statement game of the night for sure. Final score was McKeesport 42, Laurel Highlands 7. So that's a very, very...
Gallagher played?
Gallagher, I believe Gallagher played. That is a very impressive victory for the Tigers, who their only loss is to Canisius from Buffalo, which is a regional powerhouse program. And that is a really, really big statement win. We're learning that McKeesport might be for real here. They've got 2 big ones coming up towards the end of the season. I believe, let me just look here real quick on their schedule and see. I want to make sure I have this perfect when I tell you the sequence that they take on. So McKeesport is now 7-1. Their last 2 games, we'll know. They are home against Thomas Jefferson next week, and then they close the season at Bell Vernon on the 29th. So the Class 4A Big 8 Conference, the championship will be decided in the next 2 weeks.
Nice. That's how it should be.
TJ is still in the mix. They are 3-1. They've got McKeesport and West Mifflin, and then you got Bell Vernon, McKeesport. So you got those teams, 3 teams fighting it out. And I think with a thumping loss tonight when we come out with our new 4A rankings next week, Laurel Highlands may be on the outside of the top 5 for the first time this year. I had all 4 of those teams from the Big 8 in. Laurel Highlands, TJ, McKeesport, and Bell Vernon.
Do you think
we'll probably
Laurel
drop
Highlands is getting the love that they've gotten because they just have a fantastic player in Gallagher? Or is...
Well, I think it's because, and I've kind of steadily kept them going down in the poll.
Yeah.
Because over the last 3 weeks, we saw there is a huge gap between Laurel Highlands and then the other 3 in that division, because they lost 56-14 to Bell Vernon, 42-3 to Thomas Jefferson, and now 42-7 to McKeesport. So they're good, but they're not at the elite level in Class 4A. I think it's safe to say that Bell Vernon, McKeesport, and TJ are the class of it. And I also want to say Hampton is in the mix because they're 8-0. They've been crushing everybody. They don't necessarily play in as tough of a division, but they've rolled everybody that they've had in front of them. So Hampton could, I think Hampton's certainly in that mix. And then to round out the top 5 this coming week, without question, it'll be Aliquippa.
Yeah, Aliquippa.
I've had them on the outside looking in because I wanted to continue to give Laurel Highlands the benefit of the doubt and say maybe they get there, and they just couldn't do it. So Aliquippa's going to step in the top 5, and they might jump up a little bit. Are we going there? We're going.
It's the only score we're missing, right?
Yeah, it's the only score we're missing right now, and I guess we got to do it. Andy's alma mater, the Carlinton Cougars, fall at the hands of Seton LaSalle, 21-6.
Yeah, unfortunately, 2 programs. Carleton has been down for years. We've talked about this. And again, I'm not knocking the kids. I mean, I think it's great those boys are going out and playing football. I just would like them to have a chance to play on a winning program. Yeah. But Seton LaSalle has also fallen on some tough times.
They have.
They have not, and years ago when I was a kid, when I was growing up, I mean, Seton LaSalle was top notch. Bruce Gradkowski was the quarterback. One of my AAU teammates, Joey Del Sardo, who ended up playing at Pitt, receiver was there. They had some really, really good players. And the last couple of years, they just have not been able to put it together. Right now, they're 2-6. So when you think Seton LaSalle football, 2-6. Not what you're thinking. And last year was not much better, and they had the legendary coach from Aliquippa the year before that.
Mike Smianich was there, and I think
he was at Hopewell. I don't know. Was he at Hopewell last year, or it was Ringgold?
Smianich
last
was at
year,
Ringgold and then Seton.
Yeah, or maybe it was reverse on that.
Yeah.
But it's somewhere in that order. So they have had good coaches. They just haven't been able to put the talent together. And then there was obviously the big controversy this year with the recruiting thing and all that type of stuff, which I really don't think it's – first off, if you're a Catholic school or a private school, you have to, quote-unquote, recruit.
Yeah.
You have to get kids into your school. So yeah, there's always going to be recruiting, and there's also recruiting that goes on at the public school level.
Oh yeah, well listen, I mean, I don't want to make claims on anything, but there was a school in we won't name the school. This is the way to get around it. There was a school in Philadelphia, very very good public school program, that the year they made a big run in the state playoffs, they had tackles coming from Jersey City, New Jersey. They had linebackers coming from Wilmington, Delaware. And so it happens. It happens. Listen, I'll tell you right now.
Well, hey, let me say something on that real quick. Let me transition.
Yeah.
Do we really, we always talk about how, we want, it's for the kids. Right. Is it more important for the kids to play in a winning program where they're going to get recruited, particularly in football, because that's where you get recruited out of, it's high school
football, yep.
Is it more important for kids to be seen on a winning team and get recruited to go to the next level, or is it more important for parents to have bragging rights so that they can say their local school won a state championship? If it's really for the kids,
you're going to say go.
You're going to say go to the best athletic school in order for that kid to get to the next level. And a lot of people don't want to talk about that. There's problems on both sides of that spectrum. If
it can be abused.
Yeah, and if you're a powerhouse and you are recruiting, play up. You're still going to be seen. You don't necessarily have to win a state championship, but your kids are going to be seen if you're playing in 5 or 6A.
Yep.
But let's not fool anybody and say it's for the kids and then get ticked off when kids go to the best place for them to go off to play at the next level.
And I had mentioned this on one of our sports reports when we had talked about this over the summer. When it related to football, I think one of the highest profile moves I had ever seen was an across the state line move that had football written all over it. It was when I was in college, I was working at WGPA, and Bethlehem Liberty had this monster of a program at that time. They had Dan Perza go to Northwestern. Anthony Gonzalez came here to the University of Pittsburgh. Robbie Lawrence went to Freedom High School. Don't you dare say Robbie Lawrence. Robbie will not. He's going to come after you with that clarinet if you tell him that he went to Liberty. Oh, no. Yeah, but they had a host. Division I players all over the place. Guys, NFL, Devin Street was on that team at the same time. Jared West went to Syracuse. And the best linebacker in New Jersey was a kid named Brendan Beal. And he was at Roxbury High. And he wanted to enroll, and I guess his father, who was a football player at Boston College prior to that, wanted to get him enrolled at Florida early. He was an All-American, high school All-American.
I do remember this, yeah.
And they were looking around in Jersey trying to find a school that had block scheduling. And the only school that had it was at that time was Elizabeth High School. And there was 0% chance that Roxbury was going to sign off on losing this kid to a Group 4 powerhouse that they could have to see in the state final. So the father found out that Bethlehem Liberty had block scheduling so he could get out early and rented an apartment somewhere in Bethlehem, and I believe his mother lived with him in Bethlehem, and Beal moved across to Pennsylvania, played at Liberty. The people in that area went nuts. And they're like, hey, it was recruiting. He got recruited. And it's like, in that one instance, it was a case where it was the right kid with the right team with the right offering at the school.
But in theory, it wasn't recruiting.
No, it was for the kid.
Everybody already knew he was going.
They knew where he was
Division
going, right?
And he went somewhere where it fit into his schedule. So it's kind of comical. Like, oh yeah, it's recruiting. Everybody knows who he was.
Well,
obviously,
that's it. Yeah, and the thing is what was Tim Monsman, the coach at the time, supposed to say?
No, I don't want the best player in the state right now.
Coach, you got a quarterback going to Pitt. You got 2 Division I wide receivers. You got another 1AA receiver, a D1 running back. My son's the best linebacker in New Jersey. I'm going to bring him to you. What do you think? He just needs 1 semester. You're going to be like, no, I think I'm going to stick with the kid that's going to go to Moravian College. Of course not.
I think we need to get away from this whole notion that this isn't 1950s 60s Hoosier Indiana where winning the state championship is the biggest thing to ever happen in a town,
right?
It's just not like that anymore.
No, Bobby Plump is not going to Milan High School anymore.
High school sports are really, I've said it a million times, have fun, make friends, learn relationships, learn how to be accountable to other people. If you win and have those great memories, fantastic. But a lot of people are also using high school sports these days to get to the college level. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Some people are, some people aren't. Most people aren't. But don't think it's going to be this situation where, if you have good players and they are trying to use high school football to get to the next level, and they decide to go to a school that can make that happen for them, don't get mad about that, because that's what their goals are in life.
And for me, too, I think college coaches will vet themselves, too. If they see a kid who's transferred 4 times in 4 years, your odds of an offer are dropping every time. If you go once, I get it, or your school closes, like everybody's going to be like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. If you're out in your 3rd or 4th school, that's totally different. But I've said this, I've done it on Twitter, I've said it on radio and TV over the years. Who are these and I always like to I make this generic term of like the old guys in Camp Hill, longing for the, like you said, the 1950s where you play for your neighborhood school and, the local college is going to come and recruit you.
Right.
And it's like, well, okay, that's great. You can go play for, some 4-4 Class AA WPIAL school. And the University of Pittsburgh is going to go, there's a D-back at Miami Northwestern.
Yeah.
We'll take him.
Right.
Or you go to North, Central, Gateway, you move around, whatever it is. And now Pitt's going, oh, this kid's playing at Gateway. He's pretty good. And that's a little bit different. And I know people say, well, they go to Clairton. That's a program that's established. They know what they're going to get out of there, and for other.
Well, it's to kind of wrap it up. If you got a kid who's a science prodigy and you're in a district where they have a terrible science program,
you're going to move.
You have the opportunity to go somewhere else so he can or she can be better at science. You're going to do that as a parent if you have that opportunity.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's really what it comes down to.
When I was in the Valley, I always used to say band. Like if I had if I had a band kid and I lived in, God bless him, I love Nazareth, Pennsylvania, but if I lived in the Nazareth school district and my kid wanted to be in the Penn State band, I'd move to Bethlehem.
Yeah.
No questions asked. I'd put him in the Liberty band because that would be the next step. So football's no different. Basketball's no different. A couple more scores we should run through, and then we could kind of put a bow on the show. Cathedral Prep 58, Butler 7. Kind of figured that was going to happen. Butler's had a decent year, just not at the next level. Keystone Oaks 56, Quaker Valley 20. Lebo had a little struggle with Norwin, but did pull away. And, nice win for them. They'll stay at number 1, both in 6A and the overall poll. Beaver Falls 41, Freedom 8. Clairton 20, Greensburg Central Catholic 13. That was a nice Class A battle tonight between the top 2 teams in our poll and didn't disappoint. Seneca Valley over Baldwin 49-12. Newcastle escaped Blackhawk 22-21. Hampton over Indiana 42-6. And we just got 2 other scores from outside the area we want to toss out there. The number 2 team in our overall poll, Morgantown University 63-6 over Buchanan Upshur tonight down in West Virginia. In 2 weeks, they will take on Morgantown High. We don't have a City League game that night, so maybe we load up the car and head everybody down for the Morgantown and Morgantown University game. We'll see how that goes.
What date is that?
It's a Friday night, the 29th.
Oh, man, we should – I don't know. If we ended up taking like Jordan that way, we might end up at like a haunted house or something like that. So.
Yeah, there's a very good chance that she would make us do something like that. Yeah, we'd probably have to go visit like a dozen of her friends at WVU, and then they'd rope us into paying for the haunted house tour down. Because didn't she say something about that? Like they go down to Fayette County for some kind of haunted house thing.
Some type of asylum.
It's it's very, very, very bizarre. Something that I know nothing about. So. She's not here. We got to take our shot at some point. So, final score I want to put out there: Big Red 35, Mooney 14. Steubenville with another victory. They roll on 400th career victory for their head coach this evening, and again, a nice dominating performance by Steubenville High. They'll kind of rise back up in our around the area poll, which University obviously tops as well. What else? Is there anything else we have here tonight? Make sure you tune in for the D tomorrow. Mikey D coming your way.
For the Tamburitza
show at 12 noon.
And we're also people. We were just talking about it. People want the Mikey D. So we're gonna have an archive coming up here of archived Mikey D shows. So if you missed I believe he names them now. You have the Halloween
he's naming them now. It's like Halloween special.
Yeah, so if you missed the Halloween special or any of the other shows, you can come on threeriversbroadcasting.com and archive them. And they're great shows. I mean, we're not joking
he's
around.
He's fantastic. He's
Yeah.
very, very good. I know we may that's an inside joke, but because if Mikey's watching, he knows. Like he's now referring to himself on the show as the D.
There you go. I like it.
He's like, I'm going to show that Krzyzewski, and I'm gonna refer to myself in the third person from here on out. There's one other score I do want to give before we round out. Maybe it's a surprise. Rock Creek Christian from Maryland 50, Erie McDowell 10.
Wow.
So that's a blowout loss for McDowell.
It sounds like a private school, Rock Creek Christian. So
yes.
I mean, could be a very good program.
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
Rock Creek Christian in Maryland. I don't think that was Bishop Sycamore tonight.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Let's see. Rock Creek Christian Academy is 4-1, at least according to Max Preps. They lost to St. Edwards of Lakewood, Ohio, 56-18. They beat Archbishop Carroll from Philadelphia, 42-0. Germantown Academy from Philly, Friendship Collegiate. So this is legit. Yeah. This is a legit program. They're the real deal. That is McDowell's first loss of the season, I believe. They played another school, Johnson Central from Paintsville, Kentucky, who's a top-notch program in Kentucky. So this is a real school.
Yeah.
Real school with a real program. No Bishop Sycamore here tonight.
Yeah.
And, I thought it was very interesting. Last Friday, Coach Moore was like, Where's Bishop Sycamore when I need him? Yeah, he's like, we could have used the Bishop Sycamore tonight, or one of those Canada Prep or whoever it is I remember they used to come down, and when Mater Dei was building up their program like 5-6 years ago, Canada Prep would always come down and Mater Dei would lay like 60 on them. It was like I think it was like the Toronto Bishop Sycamore or something like that, but I don't think they're in business anymore anyway. No. So I think I can say that's about both of those schools. I don't think Canada Prep exists anymore either, but so good show tonight. We'll have corner kick on Monday. I'll talk about the World Cup qualifier we were at in Columbus. That was a blast. Had a great time at the game. We'll be doing some polka this week as well. We'll be getting back to that. And Pittsburgh Sports Report on Wednesday. We'll talk about the Steelers. I'm watching the Steelers now.
Yeah, it's exciting. You're getting into being a Pittsburgher, so.
Yeah, I am. And I think hopefully in the next week or two I can pin down our hockey guest.
Yeah, I'm excited about that, and we also have to follow up on a hockey contact we have through the Penguins, actually. So we're gonna have to see if we can nail that down and have a little bit more hockey coverage. So we have a lot of good things going on here. We have some interviews that we're going to be putting out a little bit later. I'll make sure we get those up on Twitter. Get them up. We'll see how long this show takes to compress. It took forever.
Last week, so I
might just put them up on YouTube and people can listen to them. But yeah, I mean, we're just cruising along here. Once again, thank you to our amazing sponsors. You've been seeing them flashing through the studio cam today. We have a lot of them. This show is always brought to you by Waste Management and the Polish Falcons. We also talked about Quick Trip IV, which I think I want to do. Like, I wonder if that's good for. We have older, folks that are friends of ours that are down the hall and different things.
Kind of like rejuvenation.
Yeah, I wonder, is that good for your cholesterol and stuff? I
don't know. Yeah. We're gonna have to talk to Bo and Newman about that. They do have a doctor that oversees their whole practice, and you and I are both into kind of nutrition and wellness and stuff like that. So maybe we need to dig a little bit more about the benefits of kind of like bioavailability of nutrients. Look at this. Maybe we could have like a science show here next. Though somewhere in Middletown, New Jersey, right now, my mother is listening to me talk about bioavailability and going, "Shut up!
Your dad gave me a score here. I have no idea who either one of these teams are, but you will. Cranford 38, Woodbridge 28.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that one from the CEO. You know what that's going to be? The Guard Market out-of-state game of the week. The Guard Market out-of-state game of the week. So Cranford and Woodbridge, two power programs in Central Jersey, both came in undefeated tonight. Cranford's got like 3 or 4 D1 players, so nice win for the Cougars. I had a lot of friends that played for Cranford High School when I was growing up. The Klimex and the Zamorskis. So I've got a soft spot in my heart for Cranford High School football. So thank you to the CEO. Nice. So there you go. Your Guard Market New Jersey score of the week.
Yeah, let me go with that. We're going to thank all of our sponsors. And let's start with the Guard Market, security on demand. If you're looking for great security, and we are picking up now people having big events. If you're looking for somebody to help you with security, I literally just had somebody ask me the other day, who do I call for security? Call the Guard Market. That is, and they're all over the country.
Yep.
They can get you.
We can get you guards everywhere, all over the country.
Report it. My company, Jim Rat Performance Training, Lawrence Repair, Paul down the hall. I didn't run into him tonight.
No Klondike bars.
Yeah, no Klondike
Jordan's not
bars.
here. He's not interested in us.
Doesn't want to talk to us.
Doesn't want to talk to us. He was trying to ask her out on a date last week.
I heard about that. Pennsylvania football news, which we can't thank enough. It's such a great partnership with us and PA Football News. We kind of piggyback off one another and have been able to give people, like we said, all year, great coverage of the Pittsburgh City League, which the Pittsburgh City League also thanked us for tremendously this evening with you being down there, and,
Yep.
and we're hopefully going to be working on something special coming up with the City League for the playoffs.
Can't wait for basketball season, too.
Me too. Steel City Grease Traps, Carnegie Ironworks, Mother of Mercy Academy Waste Management, the Polish Falcons of America, and of course, Bowen Newman at Quick Drip IV. It's almost the weekend, which means it's Friday and Saturday. We know the college crew and some of the young adults are out. Get out, check out Quick Drip IV, see what they're all about, feel better about yourself, whether you're out partying or not. It's just a great way to reinvigorate yourself by checking out what they have to offer. And like we said, they have a doctor that overlooks them. They have RNs on staff. It's just a top-notch, well-run program, and I would highly encourage people to check it out.
Yeah, they work with professional athletes. They said they got some Riverhounds and Steelers who've come through. They work with a lot of business travelers, too. So if listen, the world is, I don't know about the world. The United States is open again. We're open for business. So if you're flying from L.A.
Three Rivers Broadcasting sure is.
Sure is, yeah. If you're flying from Los Angeles or something like that, they overnight the Red Eye.
That's a great point. If you're going to be on an airplane,
that's the kind of people
take advantage. Yeah,
and they said when I was down there last week, they were saying they have people who are business travelers that are regulars that they come
build up your immune system.
That's it. Like they travel Monday to Friday. They come in every Friday night or Saturday to get a treatment, and like they work with their doctors and everything, and they customize every week for these folks that are major business travelers, and it's pretty affordable too. For the cost of going out to dinner once or twice in the South Hills, you could go and get a vitamin drip. But again, as we always say, please consult with your medical doctor prior to undertaking any health changes.
We have to get eventually. We'll get to the point where I can touch little buttons that have that type of stuff.
Yes, maybe that'll be like a 2022
the soundboard.
Yes, 2022 purchase. Medical disclaimer. Push that
and
button.
I will say, we do have a lot of people that are in the sports and nutrition. Obviously, it's a sports show. If you're into nutrition, if you're a nutritionist, a chiropractor, dietitian, doctor, and you want to have a show here on Three Rivers Broadcasting, contact us. We really love. I used to love Dr. Weiner's show.
Yep.
You learned a lot about holistic natural health and vitamins and supplements, things that athletes can use. We're looking for a show like that here on Three Rivers Broadcasting. So if you're interested, if you have a passion for that, if you have a background in that, give Alex and I a call. We want to talk to you about it.
Definitely. That's part of what we were doing out there today.
Yeah.
We got a guy who we spoke to. I had a meeting with a guy. He's looking for some sponsors right now. Out of the Upper Ohio Valley, who's a nutritionist, and I think he's going to be coming on here. Only took us like 8 months to get him moving, but he's out there, and we had a good lunch today. So I think we're going to get him on here. And listen, we got room for multiple, and different types. This guy's more of a natural guy. We could work with guys in the medical field too. If you want to be involved, reach out to us. In general, if you have a show idea, you can always at least pitch it to us, and we'll consider it.
Yep. Yeah.
So, great show tonight. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. And, Andy, hope you have a great weekend. Big Ukrainian food festival going on tomorrow.
Thanks for mentioning that. We have our Ukrainian food festival. Father Jason Chiron is a good friend of mine, my pastor, and also a friend of our station. Hopefully we're going to be doing some stuff with our church, with offering the Ukrainian liturgy to folks via on television here on Three Rivers Broadcasting. But tomorrow we have our Ukrainian food festival, all homemade. The food is literally unbelievable. And I'm not making that up. We won some contests like a year ago, the best pierogies in Pittsburgh type thing. And they are fantastic. So if you're looking for halushki and kielbasa and pierogi and all that, it's in Carnegie. You're right on Route 50. You can't miss it. The church with the domes on it. And we go 11 till we sell out.
All right. Well, that by noon.
Right. You know what? We're pretty good on preparing for this stuff. So I would think we'll probably go to about 6 o'clock.
I will vouch for this, the food over at your church. When Sarah first moved here and I was going back and forth, this was in my, before I knew I shouldn't be eating gluten and dairy days. We went to it was like summer festival you guys had. And we sampled all the food, and it was a home run, man. So I want to tell everybody.
Yeah, get Sarah down there tomorrow.
Come on
my
out.
Wife, Karina, was asking, hey, is Alex and Sarah coming tomorrow? And
I
said,
we got to save this recording, and I have to play it when I get home. I'm gonna wake Sarah up and be like, honey, we're going to Carnegie.
Sebastian's going to be be looking for Sarah. He wants to see her.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, you know what? That's all we got to do. If we tell Sarah that Sebastian's going to be somewhere,
he'll be there.
She'll be there. No questions asked. But again, please support the Ukrainian church down there in Carnegie. They are wonderful, wonderful people. I've gotten to meet, obviously Andy there and Father Jason, and everybody down there is just so nice. They get good music down there at their festivals and things like that. You go to the Summerfest, you guys have the Ukrainian dance ensembles.
Yes.
It's really a fun time. You get down there.
Very Ukrainian.
But yeah, there you go. Two Polish guys telling you to go to the Ukrainian church tomorrow.
We have to do one of those DNA things or whatever, but we're pretty convinced that we do have some Ukrainian blood, just because everybody was.
Yeah, kind of
so
like
close to
each other. Yeah,
right.
If you know, I don't know if you. This is another topic for another time. I don't know if you guys know exactly where you came from in Poland or not.
I think my father does.
Yeah.
But it's not on the top of my head.
Yeah, it's almost like us, where like on my dad's side, there's got to be some Lithuanian, kind of blood mixed in, because everybody's like tall, thin, like it kind of fits in.
Right.
So,
right.
But yeah. Head on out to the Ukrainian church tomorrow. I think we're going to head on over. Maybe Three Rivers Broadcasting will do a little filming down there. And if if Jordan wants to make up for not showing up tonight, she would come and do a feature on the pierogi
you think
pension
Jordan's
down
watching this right now, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah. Well, we're going to send her the replay and make her watch
there you
it.
go.
That's what
There
we're
you
going to do.
go.
We're going to send her the replay and be like, this is your homework. Watch it.
There you go. I like it.
There's a subliminal message on what you have to do for us tomorrow in there.
But it's not so subliminal.
It's not so subliminal.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I can't wait either when we wrap up. I can't wait to get Elijah back.
Yeah, I think it'll be great for hoop season.
Yep.
Also transitioning into NFL playoff season.
Yeah.
Because Elijah really knows his stuff.
He does.
He's
a prospect.
Yeah. I honestly think he is. He's a very good running back. So I'm sure he's on some radars as a kick return specialist or something like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, listen, this has been a great show. We'll wrap it up here because we've gone into basically Pittsburgh Sports Report mode now, where it's like,
us ran it. But
we talk about other things and. Yeah, so great show. Thank you.
Yeah, and we will have the interviews. You can check us out at the number 3, capital R, B, I'm going to say Broadcasting, capital, no, did I say that right? 3R Broadcasting.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. 3R Broadcasting on Twitter. Check us out. We'll have all the interviews, some extra features this evening, and obviously they'll be up there tomorrow morning as well. So once again, thanks for tuning in. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Have a great night.
You've been listening to the Pigskin Report on Three Rivers Broadcasting. To find out more about our station, check out our website at threeriversbroadcasting.com. By the way, why don't you do yourself a favor and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at the number 3, the letter R, Broadcasting. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.